in, come on in, come on in. Aries crew, how are you doing? I hope your week is going well. If you saw the post on my community page, you know what we are going to be talking about today. So stay tuned. Let's get into some details regarding Shannon Sharpe, the proprietor of Club Shay Shay, has been sued for $50 million. So we're going to see some information that's currently available on the case. We're going to kind of go through some stuff. We'll probably do a part 2 because the live is not going to be too long today. But if you're not familiar with me, my name is Aries Rose and welcome to Aries Rose TV. Here we talk about streaming shows, movies, TV shows, lifestyle, celebrity news, pop culture news, world news, local news, it's, as well as politics. So a little bit of everything, basically anything I find interesting, I come on and talk about with my Aries crew. And so today's topic is going to be about Shannon Sharpe here. So I was going to have a nice live with some other stories, but this one has definitely been dominating my feed. So let's get into it. So let's get some background here on this particular case, because since it's been reported that Shannon Sharpe was sued, so much stuff has happened. But let's take a little step back here in this reporting I'm getting off of TMZ. Just a moment here. All right, this reporting I'm getting off of TMZ. But before we get into that, you know the drill. If you are a returning Aries Crew member, leave hashtag Aries Crew in the comments. If you're a first-time watcher, leave first-time watcher in the comments. I want to give you a shout-out for being here. Appreciate you for spending part of your day here. So this first story here that was reported by TMZ on Monday the 21st was Shannon Sharpe has just been sued for allegedly raping a woman on multiple occasions, and the plaintiff in the case is asking for tens of millions in damages. So I have to tell you, when I saw the headline, I was completely shocked because Shannon Sharpe has been around for quite some time, and you normally don't hear a lot going on with him, especially about his personal life. Honestly, the only other story I've ever heard outside of this particular lawsuit that's been filed on his life was when he accidentally went live last year on Instagram Live, and some adult intimate moments audio was shared on there. And that was really one of the only other times that something like that has ever occurred. Now, there were some questions of whether or not you can go accidentally live on Instagram. And according to Uncle Shannon, he says that he did not ever go live before, didn't know how to do it. Now, if you have Instagram, you know that there's more than one step to go live on Instagram. So how you accidentally go live if you've never gone live before, don't even know how to go live, is beyond me. It could have just been a complete series of coincidences that made all that happen, but that's his story and he's sticking to it, so we'll go with that. Take a pause for some comments. Sports Guy or Sports Market Guy Factory, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Captain Crunch VR, welcome. And Jaden, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you have not already done so, please like the video. It costs you nothing and the support goes a long way. Really appreciate that so much. And Zeb Okanojo Brown, I might be saying that wrong, let me know. And I agree with you. I think he accidentally lied as well. I don't think you can accidentally go live on Instagram. Let me tell you, I've fallen asleep on my phone, kicked this phone, thrown all other kinds of stuff, and it's never accidentally gone on to any live on Facebook, Instagram, or anything. So I don't know, again, how you accidentally go live, but that's what he says occurred. So outside of that, in this lawsuit, though, he's been a relatively quiet guy. There's not too much stuff you hear about him, so I just didn't really believe that there had to be any truth to this, because he's not somebody you're always hearing stories about, whereas, you know, a Diddy or somebody else who constantly stays in the news behind these things, it may not be that far of a stretch. But let's see what else is being said here. The lawsuit obtained by TMZ Sports was filed by a Jane Doe, so it looks like at least the person who is filing the lawsuit is not giving their name out. I know since this lawsuit has been filed, Shannon Sharpe has mentioned a name that either he believes it is or it is that person. We'll see. Let's get back into the story here. All right, so it was filed on Sunday in Nevada after she says Sharpe brutally sexually assaulted her several times at the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025. Yikes. Following a years-long abusive relationship, at least according to this person. And per the suit, Jane Doe met Sharpe in 2023 at a gym in Los Angeles when she was 20 years old and he was in his mid-50s. She stated in the docs during their first encounter, Sharpe told her he would buy her fake chest, basically, if she won a weight loss competition with him. I'm not sure why he would say that to her. That's an interesting comment to make to a woman and to tell her you'd buy her basically a chest if she wins a weight loss competition. That doesn't jive to me as something that I could see him saying, but who knows? I wasn't there. She wrote in the suit, Sharpe proceeded to pursue her relentlessly, calling, texting, and, quote, demanding she come to his Beverly Glen mansion, end quote. All right. This is already sounding a little bit wild here. Let's keep it going. And let's pause for some comments here. Jangly Echoes. Let's see. You said Unc definitely knows how to get down. That's the real takeaway from all this. All right. If that's what you take away from it, no problem. I'm going to see what's going on with this lawsuit here because it's definitely been talked about a lot since it came out on Monday. And so the woman stated she and the former Denver Broncos tight end ultimately got into a consensual relationship, though she described it as controlling and verbally abusive. He, quote, demanded complete control over her time and body, attorney Tony Busby wrote in Doe's suit. So that's another piece to the puzzle here. This lawsuit was filed by Tony Busby. So Tony Busby has been in the news because he has been filing numerous lawsuits. It was initially against Diddy, and then he attempted to file a lawsuit against Jay-Z. However, Jay-Z shut that down. Pretty much as soon as his name was brought into it, he just immediately came out the gate saying, this is false. I'm not going to let you get away with this. And ultimately, that case was dismissed that had included Jay-Z's name in there. And his attorney is Alex Spiro. And he went to work on Jay-Z's behalf. I will say, for whatever Jay-Z's paying him, he was definitely doing the work for his client and got his name and got that lawsuit dropped. And then there was even an attempt to file another lawsuit that included Beyonce and Jay-Z that ended up falling flat. And that lawsuit got amended. It was a lawsuit against Diddy that had included them in it, and that lawsuit got amended that removed their names from out of there because this person was stating that Beyonce and Jay-Z were at a party that they were at that Diddy had tried to humiliate them at and had them wearing some questionable masks and doing some questionable things. So far, Jay-Z's been doing pretty good, but after that case between Busby and Jay-Z, it came out where, potentially the woman was not 100% telling the truth that stated that Jay-Z was involved in her being sexually raped when she was 13 years old and attended the VMAs in I want to say it was like the year 2000. Then I started to question if these lawsuits that are being brought on by Tony Busby have any legitimacy, because it sounded like not a lot of vetting was done in that one, because that case was dismissed with prejudice, which means that it cannot be filed again. But the woman does not state that her claims were false. She just didn't want to continue with the lawsuit, which doesn't make sense to me because you've already put it out there. And if you're saying Jay-Z did this and you stand by those accusations, why drop the lawsuit in a manner in which it can't be filed again? But it looks like Busby was coming with some receipts. I don't know that it necessarily makes Shannon Sharpe guilty, but he was coming with some receipts in this case that make me question if there is some validity to these claims at all. But he is the attorney who brought this case against Shannon Sharpe. And let's see, it says, quote, expecting her to be at his house on his schedule at his command whenever he called. Doc claimed that there was one argument in particular that terrified her when he yelled at her while a firearm was visible in the room. Wow, what is really going on? I'm so shocked by this. This is just, again, you don't hear a lot about Shannon Sharpe's. Hear some of these stories, it's just blowing my mind because he's always seemed like an even kill, kind of chill guy that didn't get into too much, so I'm actually really shocked by this. And let's keep reading. It says, quote, plaintiff tried sharing her location with friends from her iPhone just in case, the doc said, but Sharpe saw her doing this. The moment he realized what she was doing, he grabbed her by the neck, allegedly, and told her, quote, you ever do that again, I will effing kill you, end quote. The two nevertheless continued the relationship, even following a move by both to Nevada during the summer of 2024. However, Doe states in her suit she attempted to break things off after his infamous Instagram live streaming incident, which we talked about earlier, which she said led to him raping her. Yikes. And Doe claimed in her suit the first instance happened in October 2024 at her apartment. She said the 56-year-old Pro Football Hall of Famer forced himself on her while she, quote, while she was crying and sobbing, end quote. Wow. So she's suing for over $50 million. And this is a quote from Busby in the statement after filing the suit on Doe's behalf. Quote, it takes a great deal of courage to stand up against those with power, fame, and money, end quote. But I look forward to pressing this case in court. So now we're going to go on to see what Shannon Sharpe has had to say, because since this was filed, there's been a response. So Shannon Sharpe denies the grape allegations and calls the lawsuit a shakedown. So this is again reporting from TMZ. Shannon Sharpe is firing back at his grape accuser, calling BS on her allegations while sharing some graphic messages he claims she sent that back in his side of the story. Sharpe's attorney, Lanny J. Davis, released the denial on the Hall of Famer's behalf on Monday afternoon, just hours after Jane Doe said in a lawsuit the ex-football player actually assaulted her on multiple occasions in late 2024 and early 2025. Davis stated the suit, which was filed by famed lawyer Tony Busby, was nothing more than a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharpe for millions of dollars. He added the woman's claim is filled with lies, distortions, and misrepresentations. Davis attached dozens of messages to a statement, which he says were sent by Sharpe's accuser to the former Denver Broncos tight end. So, trigger warning here. If this type of content upsets you, this may be a good time to pause the video and step away. We're going to go into some of these that have been publicly put out there. And this is according to what Shannon Sharpe says that he received in text messages. One of them says, I know you missed this big, juicy peach, but it doesn't say peach, it says something else, but we're going to keep it clean on here. 25,000 for each cheek. So it sounds like there's a price tag that the alleged plaintiff was adding on if these are in fact messages that were sent by this person. And then another one that was sent by this person, by Jane Doe, to Shannon Sharpe says, you better crave it because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me. This is their words, not mine. Wow. Okay. And this is a quote from the attorney for Shannon Sharpe. These messages are just a sampling of a broader pattern of graphic, actual communications initiated by the plaintiff. Quote, the evidence paints a clear picture. This was a consensual adult relationship that included role playing, actual language, and fantasy scenarios explicitly requested by the plaintiff. This whole lawsuit and these messages are crazy. It just goes to show you never really know what's going on in somebody's life or somebody's bedroom. You know, Shannon Sharpe just kind of flew under the radar for a long time, and then all of a sudden this year, after I think I heard he was maybe getting a deal for like $100 million for a podcast for his show, because he was looking for a place to get connected with doing that. And then after the announcement that he may be getting a podcast for that amount, all of a sudden here comes a lawsuit for $50 million, and now you're just hearing about all of these activities or communications that he's had with people. I'm just completely surprised because none of this sounds like stuff that be coming out of his mouth or that he would be encouraging or want to receive. But, I also don't know Shannon Sharpe, just what you see on, YouTube or TV here. So it obviously doesn't paint the whole picture of him. And let's see, Doe wrote in her suit that she met Sharpe at a Los Angeles area gym in 2023, and then they began a consensual relationship with him shortly after. She stated he was controlling and verbally abusive throughout their time together, and after she said she wanted to end things following his now infamous Instagram Live incident. She claims he raped her. In addition to issuing the patent denial of wrongdoing, Sharpe's attorney stated that prior to filing her lawsuit, Doe also secretly recorded Sharpe, edited the video, and is now using it in an attempt to shake him down for money. And according to Shannon Sharpe's attorney, Mr. Sharpe categorically denies all allegations of coercion or misconduct, especially the gross lie of rape, and will not submit to what he sees as an egregious attempt at blackmail. And we're going to go through one more story here that's been reported on it for TMZ, and then we're going to definitely do a part 2 because it seems like there's new stuff adding on to this particular case all the time. But let me know in the comments if you're on the live, what's your thoughts on the Shannon Sharpe lawsuit for $50 million? These are allegations of rape and sexual battery. So, wow, my mind is just blown right now. Let's see. So, there was audio that was released that was allegedly of Shannon Sharpe making some comments here. So let's get into this. This is again reporting by TMZ. So Shannon Sharpe and his attorney, Lanny J. Davis, have vowed to release the audio later Tuesday, which, today. The Hall of Famer, Davis said, will make a statement on his Instagram page. The lawyer said he'd then follow that up with his own conference call a short time later. Someone accusing Shannon Sharpe of rape has now released audio of a conversation she said she had with the Pro Football Hall of Famer, and in it, Sharpe can be heard telling her that he's going to effing choke the poop out of her. And I am modifying words, so it's not necessarily those wording that I used. And I did hear that audio. I do not know if it is or is not of Shannon Sharpe. And if it is of Shannon Sharpe, I am not sure if it was consented to be recorded, if they were even in a place that requires consent for recording. But I definitely did hear that. It remains to be seen if that's found to be a voicemail that this person left. Jane Doe's attorney, Tony Busby, sent TMZ Sports the 1-minute 36-second clip on Tuesday, alleging the convo took place at some point toward the end of the client's relationship with the ESPN personality. The two appear to be in a dispute during the call, and it escalates further when Doe asked Sharpe to not manipulate her. Oh, Lord, have mercy, Sharpe can be heard saying in response to Doe, if you say that word one more time, I'm going to effing choke the poop out of you when I see you, end quote. A long pause ensues, and the woman tells Sharpe, I don't want to be choked. But Sharpe can be heard replying, yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter. The context of the conversation is not clear. The parties purportedly had a history of using graphic language showing a consensual dominant/subservient relationship. Text messages Sharpe's attorney shared on Monday showed the woman did once ask him to put a dog collar around my neck and choke. Wow. Choke her with it while you're effing me. It's also clear BuzzFeed did not provide us with the entire audio, and it's impossible to tell what else might be on the recording. Shocking. Just shocking. I don't even have words for this stuff. This is crazy. Another text message that was allegedly sent by this plaintiff to Shannon Sharpe is only if you put that baby gravy in me, then you can do whatever you want to me. Whoa. All right. That looks like the nature of their relationship was pretty graphic. I don't know if they were serious or not, if it was just a physical thing, but looks like more is going to come out. And the last one we're going to touch on for today is going to come back on. I'm just going to end this live and come back on so we can do the last part of the story here. Come check back in just a few moments.